Yo, let's go. We're here. Nifty Q's here. It's NFT Live. You want to do your normal intro, or am I doing the intro, Q? We didn't coordinate this. It's a special
episode.
Man.
I'm chilling.
All right. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, good morning, all the things. Wherever you are around the world, you're here with us on the Web3 Network for the last NFT Live. The last NFT Live of the week. Nifty Q is, of course, traveling. He's on the road, living his best life. Bachelor partying, stag partying. He's a world traveler and a party animal. So, but he still shows up when it matters. He's still here for us today. And you know who else is here, fam? Myself, Gifted. Biggie Poppins. I was about to be like Gifted. Biggie Poppins.
You almost had it, dude.
And I almost had it. Oh, all right. Start over. We'll come back. No, Huda's also here. Huda is back, ladies and degenerates, and we're happy to see it. He's been killing it for us, and he's killing it over there with Crypto Slam and everything, and one of the top NFT analysts in all of the space. He's hanging out with us now. So let's go around the clockwise clock of the quadrant, the four square.
Isn't it, Gifted? It's harder
let's do
than it looks.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But yeah, let's go, Biggie. What's up, man?
How you doing, brother? Great show today. Gotta congratulate you, man. I'm studying you, I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you see me taking notes, but I think you do a phenomenal job of hosting over there. It is so much fun. And you motherfuckers are crazy. I couldn't bear going on the stage with you guys talking Super Yetis and all that. I was like, where was I for that? Because I think I was in like DeFi summer mode, and I thought NFTs were just never going to be a thing. And look at me now doing an NFT show with y'all. It's been great.
The Yetis, man. We got to pull the trigger on this. Apparently, they're up like 500%, like the entire space is. But yeah, this is whenever the Yetis come up, it's an awesome conversation, and that's one of the reasons why we should get together a fund and make the acquisition.
You guys love the Yetis. Like, I think this is like the third time I've popped in here in like mid Yeti conversation.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
They are the OG rug and became one of the first epic memes, and that is why they're a permanent S tier project as far as we're concerned. And so if you don't know the Yetis and you don't have one, there's no way that you could possibly ever be considered an NFT OG. And so, we've put out the word on the X to Gordon Goner. We've let him know that like you can't be talking about picking up grails and being OG and this and that if you don't got a Yeti, Gordon. So like let him know, but also Huda, let us know what's going on with you. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm back. We're all back. NFTs are clearly back, or are they? Right? With crypto running, that kind of messes with our little game plan to NFTs a bit. Gas is too high to even buy an NFT right now, so maybe puts a little bit of a damper on our plans here. We'll kind of see. Maybe people have made enough that they're going to power through those gas fees, because keep this in mind. A lot of those NFTs are still at all-time lows, and they won't be for long. In fact, a lot of them will be out of reach soon. So you're going to power through some of those gas fees to get a grail, I think.
Yeah, we're over here on my favorite visualizer, the South Park of Gwei visualizers and gas visualizers. It's TX Street. And so, yeah, you can see Gwei is at about 55, 60 Gwei. And Bitcoin. I don't actually... Yeah, I don't even know how to read the gas on Bitcoin because I don't transact enough over there, frankly.
Oh, I've never seen this before. That's incredible.
Oh, you haven't seen this, bro? It's amazing. So txstreet.com, it's literally like you can see all of the different transactions are represented as South Park characters, and they come from these different buildings that are the different like inputs or protocols and things like that. And so as they're like the transactions come out, they come out of the different buildings and go wait for the buses, and each bus is a block.
That's incredible. Say it again. TX what?
TX Street. Like transaction street, txstreet.com.
I'm in love.
So yeah, this is my favorite real-time visualizer for gas. Whenever I check it out, it's fucking amazing. But all right, let's keep it moving onto the main man who's graciously letting me sit behind the steering wheel of the bus today. Sure. Nifty Q.
First time ever, I think. Other than Crypto Buffalo himself.
Second or third. But yeah.
Yeah, dude. I had to come
feels like first every time. Feels like first every time, though. Yeah.
It really is a different experience, kind of sitting here and just getting to, be here and just kind of talk my talk and not have to deal with all the doohickeys behind the scenes. So I appreciate you putting that up, man. And it's nice in Miami, man. I'm never leaving. It's like 72. Fucking,
You look good, dude.
You're in full Florida bro mode.
Thing. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And we got some friends already in the chat. We see y'all. Thanks for being here early and often. To Crypto Lawrence saying, who is this slick looking MFer? Yeah, who is that? CSP saying OVOT, our vibe, our tribe to you, sir. GM. We got Prodigy already here throwing OVOT. And I did drop the link for today's show in the chat. So if y'all can go put some love on that, share it out. Let's get some more friends in here today. Let's have a good time with it. This is the last NFT live of the week, and we're feeling good. Happy to be here with you because you know what? The market is up. I do feel like, maybe the proper place to start is just head over here to the coin market cap and just take a quick look. Let's just go give a glance over at what's happening here on the charts. I mean, seeing a lot of green out there, a lot of green.
ETH ETF was like on the minds of pretty much everybody this morning. I think not Defiant, who Bankless broke the story, and everybody went crazy. ETH was over 2K. This has been something we've been waiting on for a long time. I also love the memes of like ETH 2K in 2022 when it was on its downtrend as like a poor person like on the street, and then ETH 2K in 2023 is like we're just like all celebrating it. Of course. Yeah, but vibes are high, dude. And the Ethereum Blackrock spot ETF, big news.
Oh man. What else?
Yeah, well, I mean, ETH is above 2K. I mean, that's great. We haven't seen that in a long time. It feels like it's been a year. I don't actually know. I mean, let's click out and look at the chart. It's been okay. It was briefly up there. Yeah, it kind of hit it back in April, but otherwise, it's been over a year really since we've been at these levels.
Wow, dude, that's so exciting. It really is.
Yeah.
I didn't, man. Sometimes you just read it all wrong. And, when you go through some of those other cycles, those true bear cycles, those true, just the most awful moments where it's zero and you question if it will ever come back. I was expecting that to happen here and it didn't. Like, we have truly grown a very real floor in crypto and NFTs, and that didn't happen. I mean, the FTX thing a year ago was the bottom.
Yeah, man. And this is the other breaking part of this news that's definitely contributing to the momentum specifically on ETH, but, definitely in the larger market as well, to the positive vibes. Bankless sharing this, that BlackRock is preparing to register a spot Ethereum ETF. Of course, we've all been talking and speculating about the Bitcoin ETF incoming, but I don't believe BlackRock at least had filed for this, and does show again not just that they're extremely bullish, but that they feel confident. They have like a 99.999% success rate with all of their ETF applications. They don't really know what L's are. They don't, because they're so influential. They have so much assets under management and a lot of power politically that, they usually figure out a way to get what they want. And they usually won't apply unless they already know that they're going to get approved at some point. So this is, again, this is pretty big. And I guess the market's responding to that. Any other thoughts on this before we
I wanted to ask who's the big man in charge over at BlackRock?
Take a shot.
You know who it is.
Say it. I wanted to say it.
Larry Fink. Yeah. Are we gonna have
Larry
to
fucking Fink.
take shots every time we say his name? That's a fun one. Yeah, we definitely would.
Is that an inside joke here?
It is now.
I guess it started yesterday.
So I got a question or thought. Q, go first, please.
Yeah, I mean, Biggie did a good job yesterday kind of breaking out that, like, even though things are happening on the NFT side, we have to look at kind of the macro factors that really drive a lot of this stuff. But it is interesting to me to look at the micro kind of like the weekly events in NFTs, because Gordon Goner's kind of acting like mini BlackRock right now. He basically is like coming in and he's buying up all of these collections, and it's really taking sentiment to at least a local all-time high. So that part I want to touch on as well. I know we'll get to it, but yeah, the BlackRock piece, I don't have much more to say. So yeah, Huda, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just mention this. I think I saw yesterday also from Bankless that there is a 7-day window that opens up today. And the ETFs have to be approved in this window or they're not happening this year. So something to keep our eyes on, that if it doesn't happen in the next week, it's not happening in 2023. I don't know when's the next window that they can actually approve them, but just to be mindful of that.
Yeah, I know the date that I saw was February is like the absolute last thing they can push it to. Like it can't be kicked down the road any further than February 2024.
Cool. Wow, damn, it's coming then.
That BeowFam NFT is getting closer all the time. If y'all don't know, Nifty Q and I have a bet riding on whether or not the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF gets approved. And I'm still feeling confident that BeowFam NFT is coming home to me. But also, let's take a quick moment, y'all. Let's take a breath. Just remind everybody, don't speckle. This is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. Never were, never will be. All this is just public info found on the interwebs, and it's all public domain. These are just the opinions of us on the network, and never financial advice. So do your own research. All right, we said it. We did the thing. And any other quick thoughts? You know what? Let's also just cover. Is there any other housekeeping or local news that y'all want to get to before I dive into TagTech? Because I do want to follow up on the ITOs that I got into last night.
Well, I'm interested in hearing about that.
No local news on my front other than the weather update that I gave you guys. But yeah, the Gordon piece I want to touch on, and mainly because Swerve is finally here, and I love this budding rivalry that we're creating between Nick Swervis and Gordon Goner. But yeah, I love the comments in the chat as well. It's hilarious. I'll take your guys' rugs. It's fine.
Yeah, frankly, the Swervis Gordon Goner tension is really about to bubble over. You can sense it on X and in the broader space. It really feels like there's some kind of nemesis, arc there or something happening that everybody should be paying attention to.
Yeah, get one
maybe potential jiu-jitsu match.
Definitely.
Co-starring, with Mark and Elon. That'd be good.
Hey, real quick, before we get to the next piece, GIF with TagTech, there was a breaking piece of news for Artifact. I think Decrypto Lorian's on top of it as well. But if you go to their profile, it looks like they had a breaking piece.
Cool. Let's pull that up then. Yeah, but let's, since you brought him up, let's maybe just talk briefly about Gordon Goner up front, because this is one of the funner narratives and storylines happening in the space. This is breaking. All right, so I'm kind of jumping all over here. I want to talk about Gordon in a second, but this is the breaking news from Artifact. Here we go, pulling it up. Looks like they're canceling one of their offerings. I'm guessing this is around the vials. Let's dig in here real quick. The offering has been canceled. We heard the community feedback and decided to cancel this experiment. The intention of the offering was to test new mechanics and involve the community in a new way. We're working to include the community in future mechanics to optimize. Then they got a link to a spaces. Interesting.
When is that space?
It's over. 530 people tuned in. The Dunks offering. Okay, so this was around the Dunks and the vials, right?
Yes. It wasn't a digital. Oh, sorry, Huda, go ahead.
Well, is this related to to the offering, that new thing they teased yesterday? Is that what they're canceling? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, Artifact has been having some wins, and like the website and the way that they were kind of talking about these vials and the dunks, because we pulled this up last week. Gifted, I think that we were talking about that. So the fact that they just pulled back, I don't know what the community sentiment was. That's the thing we need to touch on. Like, what was the complaint?
Did they not want to extend this? I think what I read about that the offering is it's extending the ability to forge shoes. I don't know the mechanics or what. And maybe they just like when something's over, it's over, to make things a little more exclusive. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let us know if you got more details. Again, this is some breaking Artifact news, so we don't have all the details. We're collecting them. The hive mind is always appreciated. Again, we couldn't do what we're doing up here, trying to cover everything across the Web3 space to the best of our ability without y'all's help. People like Decrypto Lorian, Quantum Variant, Squashman over here, Swervis. Y'all are such a big part of this network and helping us stay on top of all this crazy stuff. So let us know if you got any more details on that Artifact news. In the meantime, yes, let's talk a little bit about Gordon Goner. We got people over here, Quantum asking, how long do you think Gordon's going to be buying? As far as we know, he just said today he had a few more. Maybe he'll keep going. Swervis, his nemesis, saying Gordon made the fattest bag off of all y'all apes, is now getting high fives for spending it on garbage. Wow, that's a spicy take.
Wow,
that's a spicy take right there.
It's got some grail NFTs.
Timed. Yeah, immaculately timed. Like this man left. I would love to see the day that he left. And like see where the market was at that time, because it feels like he left at the Pico top and came in at the very bottom.
Yeah. I saw Rizzle saying something kind of similar along those lines. Look, it doesn't seem to me like he was faking some kind of health care. Like I think it's kind of fucked up for all the people that are out there like, oh, he just like used his personal health as like some excuse to like. I don't know about those takes, man. That's pretty shitty and fucked up. If somebody needs to take a break for their mental and physical health and safety, and then you're gonna shame them. I mean, yes, there have been some ridiculous instances, like the fucking legendary moment when in the middle of a mint, they put in the Discord that the founders just died. Like,
yes.
there have been scammy moments. I don't think that's what Gordon Goner's been doing here.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the morning show. It does feel good to have Gordon kind of step back in. He's been gone forever, right? He's been gone for like a year. And it feels good to have him be more of a face of Bored Ape Yacht Club, where Machi was kind of stepping in that role a little bit. And I'm not saying he was the face of Bored Apes, but it feels good to have Gordon back, who was initially the face of the franchise when it came to Bored Ape Yacht Club. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I don't want to. Who were you going? Sorry.
Just Gordon left January 27th or 28th or so, it seems. So just if we're trying to time when exactly he left, right before Ordinals, I think, were born, or almost the moment Ordinals were born, I believe. So just interesting timing there, and the timing doesn't mean much, but that was when he exited, and that was close to the peak. Peak was just a few weeks later during the Blur airdrop token, the first airdrop. But yeah,
we do unfortunately have to cover this part of it, because I yesterday when we were speculating on what would he pick up next, I was like, maybe World of Women, maybe Oni, maybe this and that, nouns, whatever. But I hope it's not Azuki. I had a feeling he was gonna fucking pick up an Azuki, but I was really hoping he did. That's the follow-up. He picked up a fucking Azuki. And here's the thing, man. To pick up an Azuki before you pick up an Oni is just disrespect. That is absolute disrespect. I gotta say that. As much as I love what Gordon's doing personally, this is disrespectful.
Yeah, that was tough to see. I know people were predicting like, hey, what is he gonna buy? I think the consensus is World of Women has to be picked up at this point. I think Sarah was mentioning that as she joins our chat now, but there's a couple others. Go ahead, Biggie.
I think I don't know. This was bound to happen, and I think it's just going to happen more and more. Like, if this keeps going on, right? Like, people are going to start getting salty about whether or not they picked up their bags. Let's just be honest, right? And, to me, I get it. I feel a little bit like you. I was like, oh, fuck, he really went for there. But, okay. To each their own. That's why you buy what you love and what you like, right? Like, just don't fucking buy him a lady, because then I'll really never get it.
Well, first of all, GM Sarah Script, it was awesome having you hang out with us on GM Web 3 too and tell us about your awesome art. We can try and pull that up here in just a little bit. But Squashman has actually an interesting point to add to this that I hadn't even thought about. Oni Force was one of like the original 10 KTF partners too. So it's like that. Like Azuki wasn't even around. Azuki came later and ripped off what Oni was doing. Oni was actually in the 10 KTF system, ecosystem early on too. That's an interesting little data point to throw on top of that disrespect. I don't know. Yeah, the comment section is wild. I'm like,
it's gonna get crazy. I'm telling you, every day he buys more shit, people are gonna fucking scrutinize everything.
Yeah, well, I don't think
Wait,
we've seen anything yet today, so we'll all be anxiously awaiting. Maybe we'll get some breaking news while we're live in the show. Help us stay on top of that. If you happen to see Gordon tweeting while we're here live, let us know. But I do have this tweet to pull up from Huda sharing this with us. Love to see it. Just in, Bitcoin now the #1 chain in NFT sales in the last 24 hours. It already was. It looks like it's staying strong. The trend is holding right now, and even increasing, because I think it was like 16, 17 mil to around 15 mil difference between Bitcoin and ETH yesterday.
Yeah. And a disclaimer, this is from yesterday, but the conversation yesterday got really spicy around this, with ETH bros really not liking anyone saying that Bitcoin flipped Ethereum. They don't buy it because of the type of Bitcoin assets that were moving, right? Those were the BRC20s. And I think we touched on it yesterday too, but throughout the day, got more and more heated. And there are tweets put out there saying that it's being not measured wrong on our site, but more that people are reporting on it the wrong way, right? You got to factor in the BRC20s. I don't agree with them though at all. I can explain why, but I'm curious your guys' thoughts first. BRC20s being counted in NFT sales, fair or not fair?
Well, are ERC20s counted in ETH sales?
That's a really good question. Only if they're treated the same way that the BRC20s are, which is BRC20s are bundled and then they are represented by a non-fungible token. Those bundles are sold, okay? That actually does exist on Ethereum. There's bundles of ERC20s. Nobody trades them though. They don't give a shit about that.
Okay, here's my thought then, based on what we have here and what you just shared. I think it's fair to count that as an NFT sale. I think that's fair, but I think it's unfair to be comparing it the way that they are to Ethereum if ETH isn't also counting similar ERC20 sales or something like that, right? So that's all I think. I think they're both valid. They both have a valid point, because I think it's fair to count that. So when I look at 18 million Bitcoin, I'm like, okay, that's legit NFT sales. I just don't know that the comparison is apples to apples then, because I'm sure there's a shit ton of ERC20 sales, that if they were bundled in some kind of way because of how they have to be traded, which is because, like, let's also understand, or my understanding, I should say, is that the reason why that's happening and being counted that way is because of the lack of different smart contracts and infrastructure and abilities to trade these BRC20s without some kind of wrapper or additional layer of NFT token. So it's literally a limitation of the technology that you're factoring in, is like, hey, look at how fucking great we are, when actually the reason ETH is not getting that same attribution isn't because the volume isn't like way higher. It's just because it doesn't need all these extra layers just to do a simple function of trading these tokens.
That's it. That is the take, and it's the fairest take, I think. And ultimately, there's going to be a solution that they're going to build swaps. So you swap the token for the token, just like we do on ERC20s. But it was just very interesting to see how many passionate people there were. That tweet got not 500,000 views, but close to it. So it really got out there, and people are really talking about that a lot. Tomorrow, I may be on... I can't remember the name. Tyler's show, whatever that's called in the morning, that I go to every day. Maybe on there tomorrow morning, having this debate, because he does not agree that they belong there. I'm going to give him a few little I'm going to make my case. Like, Pokemon cards are tokenized, and they're sold, and they're tracked on this chart too. Okay. One NFT represents one Pokemon card. Somebody wanted to bundle 100 Pokemon cards and sell that bundle as an NFT. That still would count as an NFT sale. So yeah, it's interesting. We're never going to have apples to apples in NFTs. The solution is filters. We need to categorize these things and make filters, and that's what it will grow into eventually. But it's early and these are young.
Huda, this brings back a conversation we were having with a Solana maxi here, who shall not be named, and we're not going to
persona non grata.
But he would always reference CryptoSlam in relation to the amount of wash trading that occurred on Ethereum. So we don't have to get into that discussion, but it just this combo brings me back, because again, across blockchains, it's interesting to see those dynamics.
The Solana community and the Polygon community go at each other's throats over wash sales. They hate each other, man. It's wild to see them. But yeah, wash trades are a big deal, and there's a lot of people are passionate about their chains, and I think that's awesome. Honestly, it's like the console wars in blockchain.
Yeah, it's true. It's energy.
There's a couple interesting points there that you're bringing up, which is, of course, that each blockchain sort of represents its own brand and community and culture now. And so there is that whole culture war that just is endless and fun.
Culture.
Yep. Great point. The other thing, Huda, that you brought up that I was thinking about is just this idea that we're inundated and sort of like we have a ridiculousness or an embarrassment of riches, I think is the term. We have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the amount of data that we have available to us now on a day-to-day basis. Like we're literally drowning in how much data we can have, but we do not yet have enough tools or intelligence for how to actually interpret that data properly. And it's a big problem because you see all different types of news stories being, swung and editorialized, all different types of ways to try and just cherry pick data to make a certain point. And it's usually there's some kind of biased purpose or agenda behind the way that people are using this data, because again, there's not enough good tools to really like analyze and filter through it, to your point, well enough to actually get a really clear and accurate view. So we rely upon all types of people to give what are honestly bad or at least biased opinions. And that's what I think is happening here, because it's not wrong that like, yes, you're tracking all of this volume. It's just, if you're making these comparisons like, oh, look how much better we are or how many more sales, it's just like, it's not an accurate comparison right now.
But it's exactly
the agendas behind it. Yeah.
It's trying to drive a narrative, and constructing and using the data in such a way that it validates your point. But in the end, to me, I mean, and I'm sorry, because I know this stuff is important, especially if you're a trader, you really want to have as clean data as possible, right? But if you are here because of the community, culture, whatever you want to call it, because you dig the art, because you believe in the technology, then honestly, like spending your time in those debates is kind of a waste of time, in my opinion. Like I understand how some people can sometimes feel, encroached upon, or read some fucking tagline and get triggered because, it goes against whatever biases they have. I don't give a shit. What I want to see is just results. I want to see, and again, like in this channel, it's one of the things that I love the most about it. We're chain agnostic, like we'll look at anything as long as they're doing something interesting, whether it's on the technological side or it's on the art side. This stuff though, when people get triggered out of just something, it's great that BRCs are having their moment. Why can't you just be happy? And I understand that there's some people that trying to make it a zero-sum game, but it isn't. They're both going to exist. It's already a fact. Like we should kind of be happy that it's happening, because layer twos, and NFTs on Bitcoin just make sense, and it's going to happen. Period.
Heck yeah. Great points, Biggie. And also I did drop the link for the episode again in the chat. If y'all could go put some love on it, share it out. Would love to get a few more friends in here. So just want to remind you of that and appreciate y'all who are here hanging out with us. If you haven't smashed the like, go ahead and do that. For every time you lick the like, a chungo will be rescued off of the floor. And that is key. It's important. If we really ever want to get back into an NFT bull market, yeah, we gotta get those chungos pumping again. That's the real signal. And Q, people are pointing out that you look like the type of person that would buy ridiculous shit like gold-plated Desert Eagles. And reminder, El Chapo did have a couple gold-plated Desert Eagles. How do you feel about that, sir?
It's in my blood. I feel like they're literally just here to make fun of me and not here to talk about the things that we want to talk about. So that's what gets people in. Fine. That's fine. Haters.
All right. I did want to, on the local news front real quick, shine some light and give some love to the one, the only Sarah Scripps, since she popped in on both of our shows to say hi today. Here's some new work, which is admire for a second. Her awesome illustration. Again, she does some of the coolest celebratory NFT space culture celebration illustration, where she really goes deep and intricate on all of the different nuanced references and cool cultural details that are in these beautiful pieces. So you know what? Fuck yeah, Sarah Script. Appreciate
That's
you.
gorgeous.
7 hours and 30 seconds. Yeah, I love those replays, huh?
What are these? What are these? What is this for?
This is Sarah's. She just has her own series. I believe this is from her Nifty City series. So she has a whole world called Nifty City, and she just illustrates and draws different scenes from within Nifty City. So this is like a hotel room in Nifty City, I believe. And so you can actually see on the wall, there's an OPEPin, her own derivative too, OPEPin. And there's a bunch of different references from this year. So this is kind of like an ode to 2023 in NFTs, because there's a bunch of different, and then that's Sam Spratt on the left, I believe, the skull as well. There's some Sam Spratt in there. You got a Cool Cats. There's a bunch. If you actually zoom in on all the details, it's phenomenal what she does. She has like an entire Nifty City library that's literally giant bookshelves, and every single fucking book almost has like a creative pun or play on NFTs and web. It's fucking beautiful. She's amazing at what she does. And yeah, she's here hanging out with us too. So you know what? Shout out you, Sarah Script. Keep it up. We appreciate you. All right. Let's Decrypto Lawrence saying pretty dope. Getting some love there. All right, let's keep it going to some other stories and headlines. Let's talk briefly about TagTech. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it up because I am in on the beta, and I'm
actually excited to see this because I haven't looked at the options
a little bit. So this is what happens when you log in. This is the profile page. You see activity. I got some activity. Yeah. I launched my own ITO, which I don't know if that did anything. I got 1 hour left of my ITO. I don't know how that's doing, but I did it as an experiment because I have no idea, like YOLO, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I saw you up there. That was cool. I saw that this morning. I'm like, oh, he launched.
I want to see this GIF. So hold on. Do you have any bids? And then Icebergy and Dingaling, their ITOs are over. Are they live now here?
Oh, they ended.
I would love to see.
Yeah, so you can see.
Tell me they're not at like 0.1 or something like that. Just
I don't think
Huda,
so.
What are you about to say?
Well, so yeah, I think Giff and I did this around the same time yesterday. I hit him up to ask where you see those ITOs. He told me. I went and bought the same two. I bought Dingaling and I bought whatever Ice Dude. And but now that they're over, yeah, dude, Dingaling's keys on Friendtech are not cheap. So I'm watching this. I haven't seen the sale price though. They don't make it easy. It takes you to an Explorer, and I just didn't see that. I didn't see the price, but
yeah. Giff, try to click into Icebergy's name. I'm interested.
I will. But real quick, this is interesting. If you go to global, you have visibility here. There's less than 500 holders still in here. So if you are interested in trying to get into something early, it's still very early here. Tags in circulation, only 7,100 tags have actually been bought so far, I guess 7,120. So I'm guessing this is the total amount of tags and tag holders. Again, tags are like keys in Friendtech, or like the tickets, what they called shares initially on Friendtech. So it's your way to sort of invest in these different people's channels or groups. So let's see if I go. So I'm holding,
doesn't work.
This is my activity. You can see I claimed my successful bids on both Dingaling and Icebergy. Here we go. Icebergy's profile.
Okay.
Tag price up a little bit from, so far it's up to 0.013. So the 0.01. So what ITOs are, let's explain this real quick. So one of the problems, one of the issues and pain points with Friendtech is that, first of all, bots, whenever people were getting on, they were getting botted to all hell. So like the bots were crazy on Friendtech, front running people or just making it extremely difficult to get in early on different accounts and running things up. And it has a very painful bonding curve where it's like, I think every single key that's bought, it like doubles in price or something. So it's exponential. It just goes it goes up super, super fast. Or it's linear, but it goes up. Yeah, it goes up very, very fast. And so, it can get extremely expensive and get hard to get in on creators or communities that you want to get into very quickly, especially when they're getting botted. So one of the innovations that's happening on TagTech, which is Machi's Friendtech competitor, SocialFi app that he just launched yesterday, is this idea of ITOs. So I'll pull back out here, you can see ITOs is a tab here. Each of these is basically an initial tag offering where you can see the minimum bid. It's basically a set price of 0.01. Oh yeah, here we go. Huda's got one. There it is next to mine. We both did it. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna probably do better than mine, but either way, man, excited to see you up here. But yeah, so the idea is you give people a chance, a 24-hour window to get in at an initial set price. You don't have the botting issue and you don't have the painful bonding curve.
Yeah, I want Huda to jump into too because he obviously is having experience in the app. But I'm away. I'm not the hot wallet that I had attached to this when I first pulled it up and I got my friend codes and all that stuff. Like it's back at home. So, and we can actually pull that up, by the way. That's a good little run in. But anyways, the situation here for me, yeah, yeah, pull that up. Just sitting there. Yeah, I left the browser open, guys. I didn't want the episode to run. Anyways, back into a GIF. Look, if you're sitting at home, you're like, what the hell? Like, why another SocialFi app? The way I'm playing this is and more from a speculator's perspective. If it gets popular, it gets popular, right? Like if it pops off and like there's people messaging, okay. But really what you're looking at here is just from an alpha perspective, and I hate that I have to say that, but from a perspective of like, okay, Machi knows how to pump shit. Machi has set this up in a way that isn't as point speculative. There's actually tokens involved. There's going to be a friend tech airdrop. There's like they're pretty much turning some triggers here or some knobs that is a little bit more of the incentive based thing that you want to see, and maybe the more FOMO based stuff you want to see. So for me, I talked with Mike and he was like, why do I want another app? Right? Like, why do I want another? Like, I'm already talking on friend tech, motherfucker. Like, I'm not going into this play initially as somebody that's like, I'm going to go on activity and try to earn those creator rewards from being a big account. I'm going to speculate on these ITOs and then get the airdrop that I'm going to receive from speculating being an early user. That's how I'm playing it. But that was long-winded. Yeah.
I got to ask a couple of questions here. So I noticed Pranksy's now on here. His tag is only 0.06, but you would assume that's value, right? Because his key over on FriendTech is multiple ETH. Okay. How does he drive value here when he owes that value over on FriendTech first and foremost? He hasn't committed to doing anything here either, but it's like, how do you value these tags when you know they have an audience elsewhere? And at some point you can't split your time between all of it while he's running his NFT boxes project. You know, he's got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I think 0.06 sounds cheap, but then again, that might just be throwing away 0.06.
Yeah. I think when you get to a category where it's 0.06 or higher, you start to get in this scenario where you're like, I don't maybe want to touch that. 0.01 is a throwaway on Pranksy. You know, like let's say what happens. But yeah, you raised a great point. Like once it gets to like 0.1, you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Biggie, any thoughts? Are you gonna I don't think you've been really big on the SocialFi thing. It seems like you've been kind of all out.
No, I haven't. I've stayed away, and I've said it many times before. I recognize the angle that others are playing, and it's valid, right? Like it's just I recognize that it requires a certain level of work and attention, and that I do not have for it right now, you know. And at the same time, I think if I were to play devil's advocate and try to poke holes into these SocialFi apps coming up, right? Like I think this is a great example of why I think these aren't it. And it's the immediate fragmentation that we saw, right? Like whether it was with the AVAX project that I already forgot the name of, new Bitcoin cities out there. Some people playing
Stars Arena,
right? Yeah, and there'll be more, right? And it's unfortunate to say, but yeah, like I think again, like that Lindy effect, right? Like X is where it's at. Like if I was gonna devote my time to to social, to a potential SocialFi play down the line, or anything having to do in the crypto space that's socially related, I'd double down, triple down, and X and just do that. And so whatever time I do have, I spend with you guys here to do it with X, and that's about it. You know, like right now we're going into the holidays, and so I'm just like trying to lay off as much as I can from committing to other stuff. You know, compartmentalize. But hey, it sounds interesting. I want to see what happens with Machi.
Yeah, it's good, man. Look,
the dude is a pumping machine, so let's see how that goes. You know,
we can't all be in everything, though. There's too much, right? You got to pick and choose your battles. I think you're really smart about that, Biggie. You're really smart about that.
Well, I think you just have two combos, right? Like the product market fit, the people on FriendTech are asking the same thing. They're like, what's going to be the thing that drives people here that's not just farming the token? And that's where the other part of the conversation is coming in. It's like, this is an opportunity. Machi's a big player when it comes to these tokens. So the fact that you and Huda are on it and have created an ITO and have bought a couple tokens or what do they call them? Tags, you're probably going to get some of this airdrop. And so from that perspective, it's just a pure alpha play, right? It's not like, when are they, going to bring X amount into the app and all that stuff. That's going to take it even further. But we just saw what happened with Meme Land. They went to a $1.7 billion, $2 billion market cap. They said that shit was worthless. So right now it's like,
you know what's one thing that always that keeps coming back that it doesn't sit well with me, but it also shows you just how much they need X. Is that they're all reliant on X, right? Like you have to go and sign in through X to validate your account, your name, to prevent squatters, what have you. But at the same time, it's 100% reliant. Like you can get hijacked if your X account gets hijacked or you lose it, you're screwed. Like it just goes back to that same argument to me. It's like, I don't see these things upending X anytime soon. And
this is interesting.
Not like Juggernaut trying to change Threads, right? And they failed. So
that's not Biggie. That's literally, they have stated, and I think most people understand that they're not competing with X. It's like an extra. It's like, is Telegram competing with X? They're saying that, but
they would love to. Like that's what they're trying to grow into. And at some point, hopefully, compete. That's a bit of a cop out, in my opinion.
It's okay. Look, it's social media, so they're all competing for attention and time and energy and resources. At the end of the day, there's finite time and energy and resources, and only so many social apps that you're going to be putting your time and energy into. Like we already saw Mike Finch. You said he's like, no, I got my apps. I don't need any more. So they are all competing for our eyeballs, our time, attention. But I think this is to me more of a play at the OnlyFans model, the OF model, really, in my opinion, and maybe Patreon or something like that, than more directly at X. Although I do see that X might in the future also be trying to incentivize creators. They're already working on different creator incentives. So I think it's valid. I want to bring this up though. It's interesting. You can see already on the rewards tab, of course, there's a rewards tab already in TagTech. You can see I am apparently getting this a 0.17% allocation so far of the weekly rewards. I'm 33rd out of 500 right now already, just based on the small amount that I put in here.
Wow.
So there you go. Interesting stuff. And all right, we can stop talking about TagTech for a little bit. Any last thoughts on TagTech and what Machi's doing? I think, Q, the one thing that we've kind of glazed over that you keep mentioning is that it does sound like he's already out of the gate. He's not trying to pussyfoot around oh, we're doing shares or rewards or points. It's like he's saying there's going to be a token.
My man's in Taipei. He doesn't got to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
So I think the token's literally trading now. All of this kind of happened. The launch happened as I was getting ready to fucking leave for Miami. So yeah. I'm sad that I'm not getting to participate in all this stuff and have an ITO with you and compete for the top 30 spot.
Yeah. All right. We got Prodigy saying F socials, go outside, touch grass, leave your phone behind. We got Quantum Variant over here saying Biggie has a balanced life. Yes.
Prodigy's the same dude over here saying, I wish I had an ape. Well, you can't have it both ways.
All right. We're not gonna shit on our man Prodigy over here. Checking in on Q's home. Looks like everything's safe. Everything's good. All right, cool. We'll keep it going on to the next stories. I want to talk about art a little bit here. Let's shift gears. Let's take a hard left turn into the art world, because we had a couple things popping off yesterday. Obviously, Ordinals. This project by an artist that I wasn't really familiar with. This kind of really took off or started to get more attention right after we finished the show. So we did get it in the rehash. Shout out the rehash. If you don't know, now you know. Look out for that later today. But this did make it as the #1 story in our rehash yesterday. This artist, Anthony Hailey Mann, is their real name, goes by Mount Vitruvius, had an art box drop called Trichromatic. And it's not their first art box drop. This was a curated art box drop. Apparently they've done another one in the past. Maybe that was an Art Box Presents. They've got a couple different generative art projects that have done pretty well, apparently. This one absolutely took off. I'm going to pull it up on OpenSea here, but I think the work is beautiful. A lot of people have been saying, it kind of is reminiscent of some other projects. But look at this, almost 1,000 total volume on secondary in like 24 hours already. And the floor went, it was like a 0.8 ETH, 0.85 ETH mint. I think it jumped up over 2 ETH yesterday and is sitting around 0.18 right now. Open the thoughts.
Yeah, I saw this pop up on my radar everywhere. Minted out, I think, at 0.85 and immediately ran up to 2 ETH or something like that. They're beautiful, man. And obviously, when it's art blocks curated, a lot of the OGs are going to be paying attention. Lots of really cool stuff happening in the space right now, like just in general.
Heck yeah. Any other thoughts on this project or what's happening with it?
Yeah, nothing profound to add here other than this drop for some reason has the hype, which when NFTs are hot, I think the bar's a little lower. And I got to make this really clear. That's not a statement on this piece. This piece is gorgeous. Like, this is a very, very pretty looking collection. And it has the technical kind of, it's got the code, right? It's got the algorithm that actually looks unique and the palette's great. It's a phenomenal collection. But yeah, I just wonder what this would have sold like just 3 weeks ago or so.
Yeah. How low it would have gone, right? 100%.
Yeah. But timing. All the right people are in it and collecting it. And this one looks like it probably will do pretty damn well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it already is. I mean, timing, I think you're right. Look, timing can be as big a factor on a project success as anything else. But yeah, I don't think you can take away from the art and the work. Again, this is not a first-time generative artist. This person has been dropping pretty well-known generative art collections apparently for the last couple of years.
So I don't know how popular this guy is. So I say that up front. The one thing I do like in the narrative that I can get behind, if this guy is like more popular and seeing success, like I really appreciate what Biggie's doing with Command Plus A and what you're trying to do there with the GM Web3 show, where you're bringing on artists that maybe aren't a part of this like pantheon or echelon. So I don't know where this artist actually falls in that, but I love the narrative of like, I love Rafiq. Don't get me wrong, but like talking about Rafiq all day, I'd rather talk about really cool artists that we can kind of bring up through the community and really highlight them.
And absolutely. I think it's really exciting, right? Like, I think during the bear, like many people, even in Marfa, were done, is like curation is the name of the game now, right? And you have all these different platforms because, again, very much like we talk about here in the space, you can't cover everything, whether it's DeFi, SocialFi, or NFTs. Just in the art world, whether it's generative or man-made or what have you, sculpture, music, you can't cover it all. Like you can't, like Art Blocks has like obviously a very prominent position in the gen art space. We'll forever have that. It's the brand and the people that have come up through there and have curated that whole ecosystem deserve all the success that they've achieved, right? Having said that, I'm really excited to see this time around what all these other, I don't want to call them contenders, but purveyors of their sectors, of their art communities have to bring forth, right? Because you have just the AI front, right? With like what Rainstro's doing with Claire Silver over there with Braindrops, right? And then you have like we've talked about over here, like Quadrillion and all that happening in Bitcoin. So that's the only part where I, as a collector, sometimes hesitate to just completely fanboy into every single, first of all, because you better have some serious liquidity if you're going to fanboy into every single Art Blocks drop, especially the curated one. You're going to have some serious bidders there, right? But at the same time, if you do like to speckle a little bit, or maybe try to find the diamond in the rough, there's a great opportunity right now to zig where everybody's sagging, right? And it's like, no, man. Like, dude, Casey Reyes just dropped a curated drop. It's phenomenal. I linked it in the show notes thing that we have, the spreadsheet, brother. But like there's amazing artists right now currently getting onboarded. And if you consider what most artists to this day have been like, or are like, right? Like most of them are not coders. Most of them don't use AI, but they're very talented. And up till now, haven't had an opportunity to have their voices heard, until places like Web3 and like what we're doing at Command Day have come up. And also just to teach them the basics, like, hey man, like this is a smart contract. You put it up here. Yeah, you kind of have to do the social media dance. You have to get to know people, but you're seeing it happen in all these different fronts with people and artists that have an eye, that have relationships in the art world. And it's not all just coming through, art blocks or FX hash. It's a whole bunch more. And so I'm really excited,
dude. And I agree full-heartedly. I've talked a lot about how I think curation is still very much underrated, and it's like a superpower that is extremely undervalued. And that's definitely a big part of what we are focused on trying to hone in and do a good job at on the Web3 network. We try and cover the whole space, which is very difficult with how much is going on, and bring y'all the highest quality editorial, entertainment, and education. But this is why the hive mind of the network is so important, because to keep up with everything and stay on top of it and get through all the noise to try and figure out the most interesting things, it is a full-time job and it's not easy. And so, yeah, I appreciate you calling that out. But also, Biggie, flowers back at you, because that's why I'm so excited you're doing Command A and all that stuff, because you definitely have shown that you have an eye for art, for upcoming artists. And on that note, great segue into what's going on here. This is the Casey Reyes link that you mentioned and you sent over. Mm-hmm. So what's happening? Give us a quick 1 minute explainer of what's happening.
So it's basically, what is it? Like 6 different artists, 30 sets of 6 works, and they're all plotters. So like, think about that. Like in the whole art space that we were just talking about, like this is specifically plotter art, right? And look at these pieces, man. Like I can't decide which one I want more. Like I'd love to have one of any of these collections. I think they're gorgeous. And this is, like basically Casey Reyes, say, exhibition, right? Like bringing in, artists that he respects, that he loves, that he admires, and, bringing them up. And I think like some of them are going to be Dutch auctions. Some of them you'll be able to collect. We'll see what they go for. I'm definitely keeping an eye on something like this. I dig this. I like plotter art. So
this is cool. So this Feral File collective or website, whatever it is literally a place where they bring in curators to create unique experiences and collections. So yeah, this is really cool, man. Definitely what we're talking about here with curation.
And you have like Pat Ramadan, shout out to that guy too, doing something very similar with his 404 collection, like magazine, right? Where he like literally puts the shout out on through his socials. It's like, hey, if you're an artist, send me your art and to be featured in my monthly magazine, right? And I think that is just fucking amazing, man. That's really, really cool. There's just going to be so much more to look at this time. There is already, and I think it's just starting. Like,
right on. Well, thanks for sharing that, Biggie. I dropped that link in the chat if y'all are interested in what is going on with this Casey Reyes curated drop on Feral File. Quantum also sharing that Feral File is also apparently generative art. So that's very cool to know. So thanks for that, Quantum. Also, always great to see you here. Do y'all have Huda or Q? You got any sort of last thoughts on that before we keep things moving, or just generative art thoughts in general? Actually, I do have one last quick generative art piece that I want to throw in here before we shift gears into other things.
I'm not following you guys into some of these generative art plays again, so I missed that wave.
We're gonna have Jared Paz next week. In the show. Like on Monday. I'd love to continue this curation discussion with him because obviously he's got his own project that he's been curating for a while now, so I'm sure he'll have some thoughts there.
Yes. And I wanted to just throw this in here briefly. We will get to talk more about this next week when Jiwa joins us as a special guest on GM Web3. But this is really special and cool because, to your point, Biggie, it's about finding the cool people, the builders, the creators, the artists in the space, seeing what they're doing, believing in them, getting in on what they're doing early. And Jiwa has been one of our OG friends of the castle, friends of the network. He was one of our early contributors on GM Web3, bringing in the Tech Tuesday and the Tez Tuesday vibes over there. He's the one who initially turned me on to Kim Asendorf and a bunch of other amazing Tez projects like Huda. We were talking about, honestly, actually, my whole Tez portfolio over there on FX Hash, it's almost entirely because of this man, Jiwa, right here, and all the awesome things that he was bringing us in terms of Tez and Generative Art Alpha on GM Web3. So owe him a lot of credit for that. But he has been deep in the generative art world for quite a while over there in Berlin, Germany. And now he's taking a next big step in his career as a generative artist. This is going to be an upcoming drop on November 27th called AXO, and it's an Art Blocks Presents. He's getting on fucking Art Blocks, y'all.
Huge.
It's huge. It's a big deal. And these are, I have to say again, I've collected some of his earlier works, but I think this is the next level. Like, this is beautiful and definitely looks like it's going to be my favorite project he's dropped so far.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's been teasing out a few of these. Again, if you're not following Jiwa on X, I'll drop him in the chat too. I'm looking to see if I can pull up any more of these real quick because he has been sharing them. Here's a couple samples. But yeah, these are going to be super dope. Any other thoughts on that? I just want to give him a quick call out. We'll be getting deeper into what he's doing with Art Blocks and AXO next week. But any last thoughts on generative art before we shift gears?
It looks great. I want to find out what his process was all like if he's willing to share it. So I'm looking forward.
Gen art in particular is so fun to learn how they make it because it's such a mystery. If you're not a coder, man, they're magicians. Yeah, that's a beautiful piece. Just I guess a heads up, keep watching over on FX Hash because that calendar is starting to fill up. I won't be shocked to see Kim Asendorf actually have a piece when that opens on ETH like that. He mints there often. So, man, I just think that's going to get real spicy real quick on December 1st.
It is, dude. That's why I was bringing it up. We were talking about it, and Q was kind of asking questions about it. But the reason to watch it is because FX Hash has been this super popular open generative art platform on Tezos, and now they're moving to ETH. So I think you're right. It makes a lot of sense that a lot of those sort of the bigger Tez artists that had successful drops on FX Hash, why wouldn't they want to also use this as an opportunity to launch something on Ethereum? I think that makes a ton of sense. You mentioned Cyphered. I was looking at the calendar, and I'm going to pull it up real quick just so everybody is following along and knows what we're talking about. I didn't see Cyphered on this calendar, though. So can you share a
screenshot?
I took a screen.
Oh. Yeah. So it was there. He removed it, which makes me think even more that it's
playing with your emotions.
Yeah. I'm going to send this to you.
So this is the calendar. FX Hash is
going to be there, man. Fuck yeah.
What was up?
Mark Knoll also.
Yes. Yeah, small skull.
The skulls, dude. You're gonna have a lot more people vying for your ETH this time around. And I think if you're a savvy collector, if maybe you're one of those that's like, dude, like I'm tight on liquidity, I can't exactly do art blocks, dude. You're gonna have tremendous opportunity to collect serious art from a whole bunch of different platforms this time around. So.
Dude, Huda, if you can share that alpha or a screenshot or whatever you're talking about, I would love to know when. It's supposed to happen on December 1st?
He did the first placeholder post on there. So he was there on December 1st. It's the very first NFT. It says test, but it's just, a year and a half we've been waiting for his drop. I think he's dropping as the first token, like he did with the Tezos platform. Right?
Yeah.
It does just say test, but it would make sense. It would make sense. And now
he's been waiting. It was ready months ago. It's just he wanted to fine tune it. Like, it's ready to go. When else would you release it than the launch of your new platform?
Yeah, man. And we're apparently we weren't officially following you from the Web3 yet. So let's go ahead and drop Huda in the chat too. If you're not following this man, follow him. He's doing great work, and we're stoked to have him hanging out with us, dude. And that's a great reason why, right? NFT analysis and some journalism potentially. He might have caught wind of something that very few people are aware of. And Cyphered is the creator of FX Hash, dropped the earliest collections, just like Snowfro did on Artblock. So on December 1st, he might be dropping the first collection, and it's hard to say where that could go, but it's hard. You'd think that it'll be popular.
And I'll just add one more quick thing. It's been a year since Zancan had a mint on Ethereum too. We're basically the 1 year anniversary of when he had that mint over on Verse.works that minted almost 12,000 editions of that piece. That boggles my mind that happened, and it blew his mind too. He was not expecting that, but won't be surprised to see a Zancan mint also on FX Hash. So a lot coming.
Right on, man. And shout out Easy. He says, OVOT late today. Hey, it doesn't matter, bud. You made it. That's what matters. Excited to have you here with us as always, Easy. And all right, I got at least one more story to pull up here, and then we'll wrap it up in the next couple minutes. Shout out everyone hanging out with us, and also lick the like. If you haven't licked the like, do it. Appreciate it. Makes a difference. And all right, this is the last thing that I was going to pull up, other than maybe checking back in on Gordon Goner, seeing if anything has happened over there. We got an announcement from Manifold. Seems actually pretty interesting. We did, again, manage to get it into the rehash yesterday, and it's about getting physical. It's about streamlining the process of getting physical items to token holders, which has, really been a challenge. There hasn't been a lot of great solutions for how to easily streamline the physical aspect of getting cool merch and different products, physical products, out to token holders, coordinating that around the tokens, managing that pipeline. And you got this update from Manifold here, introducing digital pop-up shops called Get Physical for physical goods. Basically lets you create, by the way, this is the whole thread. Try and get into it. Here we go. All of this is on our X profile if you want to dig into it, but they got a thread with some details talking about this seamless, streamlined product sales page with payment methods like burning an NFT, paying with crypto, just holding an NFT, and then it says soon fiat also. But yeah, what do y'all think about this update? Any thoughts?
Fucking massive. I think it's awesome for the space. I mean, and if you think, I saw this, and the first thing that came to mind was also like Transient Labs that just launched. Also, it's about to launch their chips that you can embed for creators that make physical things. Like you pair these two things together, and it's magic. Like I mean, I can't say enough about this, but like if you're into merch, if you're into like just physical items, I know like Proof, we're about to launch this new exhibition, and like the starring artist is going to be doing pottery work. It's like really famous for her pottery pieces. I mean, I think, dude, like, yeah, you can't, this is one part that I feel anybody that's been in NFTs for the longest time feels like it's been lacking, right? Like it's the display technology that's still a while out from here. And then it's the physical, right? Like, and like, whether it's embedding it with a chip so that you're able to, tie it into the original NFT, to token gate something, to latch it onto a Phygital, or just to be able to claim like really cool limited edition merch. And this is going to enable you to do that. So, I mean, I think this is gonna unleash some wild fucking drops. I'll tell you that much. I am 100% certain. If the fucking apes got pissed about the Bape thing, this, are you kidding me, dude? If you're an amazing artist and you do like a really cool, like, I don't know, ape hoodie or something, or you go the CCO route and do like birds or skulls or whatever, and you drop it in limited edition, like, I think, yeah, potential to do really well. You know?
Yeah, and it looks like we've got this sort of test example with a fuck render drop up here. 499 out of 500 still available, but you can burn 2 fuck avatars in exchange for a signed print. So this is sort of their test that they've got up here. And also want to get Metageist in here saying it's so good, perfect for merch and my AR sculptures, etc. Very excited. I didn't know about it until you mentioned it. Yo, appreciate that. Thanks for skidding in. Y'all got any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. The first of all, digiphysical is the term, so I'm always down for that.
I saw you kind of like squirm.
He had to leave. It's okay. We're replacing him with a more intelligent version. There it is.
You're abusing your power, sir.
I
think that's true.
Keys to the castle.
That's it. You give somebody power, you see their true character. All right. RWAs, though, are these real world assets are 100% going to be a bridge for a majority of folks. And the narrative you need to be, I don't know how to quite play it yet, right? Like we saw the courtyard drops with the Pokemon cards, and that was super popular with a lot of people. Like maybe that's the route, and maybe that's what it looks like. But yeah, this is 100% the bridge. In the first run, we were like metaverse, you know, like come in and play with our digital items, but clearly nobody wants to fucking do that. So this is that bridge. It meets them where they're at, and then they'll get introduced to this technology.
Great takes. Any other takes on what's going on with this Manifold Get Physical update?
I'll just say I'm really lukewarm with it. I like it. I just don't think it moves the needle much. There's services out there that already do physical prints, and even FX Hash has like redeemables, so you can get prints, and people like it, but nobody's talking about it. Most of the tokens are unredeemed. I might be missing a component there, like something that just hasn't made it click for me. But so far, I'm like, it's cool, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like hooking up a printful kind of print on demand service and calling it like your merch drop and token gating it tapes is not gonna move the needle to anybody. I'm thinking about it more like I don't know, if you're like a really talented Etsy person that makes jackets, like fucking crazy amazing jackets that take you a long time to make them, right? And you do an edition of 10 for the Bored Apes or whatever, and it's like, dude, first come first serve, or like Dutch auction or whatever, like that, you know. And obviously the big brands can come in and do their fucking, I'm sure we'll see that.
So hang on, I might have thought about this the wrong way. This is tailored to people outside of NFTs, maybe people who have physical goods and physical art, and this is to get them to tokenize their work in a way.
Exactly.
Oh, and so shit, that changes a lot.
And not only that, but it's like you're playing to, like, think about it like from a, like if you're an affiliate marketer or if you're an e-com person, right? And it's like, okay, well, now you have to go and start TikTok thing and do ads, and 2% response rate is usually the norm, and you're just fucking grinding it out there. Well, here you already have a set audience. There's fucking how many apes? 6,000 in some apes, and they've all got money, and they all want to rock their fucking apes, and like they all want to do like really cool high-end shit, not like print on demand crap that you see from most people. It's like, no, and I'd like it to be chipped, so you can add a transient lab chip on it, right? Maybe some fucking VR shit to go with it too. Yeah. You can like, if you can make like some really high-end stuff, like physical stuff that people want to get their hands on, I don't care, fucking ashtrays, jackets, fucking shoes, then yeah, the sky's the limit.
Dude, I have a friend who is a legit, like, just one of the most talented physical artists I've ever seen, ever. She's been on the news. She's in New Hampshire, and like on the news there, like locally people know her and collect her stuff, and it's all handmade. And I've been thinking for a year about how to get her into this. And this is it. This is literally it. Like after we're done, I'm calling her and telling her this is what we need to look at. I can't, like, it perfect.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, I think my take on it is there's a chance that, it's not immediately super impactful. Maybe you'll get some cool use cases or examples that come out of it. There's a chance, but there's also a chance that this is the tweak or the innovation or the right timing or the right platform to launch this integrated experience that does it better than anything, that all of a sudden people get it. And that's, I think, again, like the innovation that Friend Tech had is, it's like, social tokens existed. That's not it though. They came in at the right time with a new packaging, a new little twist on it, and all of a sudden you unlock a new product market fit and a lot of new interest. And so that's what I'm looking at with this, is that we might be ready for this, and the technology might be good enough that all of a sudden this starts becoming a bigger, more widely used application. That's what I hope, at least. But yo, Squash Man coming in here like he does with the fucking updates, with the alpha. So let's hit these last quick stories.
Everybody's fucking trembling. What's he gonna buy?
Yeah, let's get these last stories
Jesus.
in here from Squash Man before we check
Do
out.
you have a Super Yeti? Because I don't. I know these two
No.
motherfuckers do.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
my,
well, actually,
my Super
gonna be
Yeti is
pissed.
ice cold in my wallet.
Since you mentioned
oh
that,
my god, I thought that was a Super Yeti Gordon post. Jesus.
No,
Yeah.
since you mentioned that, let's make sure that everybody tweets this out, because it's important that Gordon knows that his OG status is actually in question. Unless he has a Super Yeti in his wallet, can he really call himself an OG? I shared that in the chat. Run it up, fam. Let Gordon know that if he doesn't have a Super Yeti, he's not really getting it. He's not hitting. So that is what it is. I don't make the rules. That's just how it goes. And all right, we got a quick .swoosh update, and then one or two other quick ones from the man. We should call it .squash at this point. You know what I'm saying? Let's just call it .squash. Here we go. This is, we were just talking about merch. Great segue. Anyone ready for the shirt drop details from .swoosh? 1 week from today, the .swoosh Tonnage T will drop via exclusive access on the Sneakers app. So this is the power of Nike, man. They have such an ecosystem, so many rewards, customers, people in their apps already. And now they're expanding what was like a Web3 native shoe, the Tonnage, their first Our Force One Air Force One drop. I know it's a little bit confusing, but through the Air Force One NFTs, you can access this limited edition shoe, Air Force One shoe called Tonnage. And now they're expanding that into t-shirts on the Sneakers app. So you're just seeing how they're building integrations and tie like overlapping and bridges and all like interoperability across their ecosystem. I don't know. I just think this is cool, whether or not you want a fucking shirt for $55.
Yeah. Talk about real world assets that we just hit on. They're just doing it all in house because they're fucking Nike. So this is legit.
They have all the infra.
A continued
Nike's killing
celebration.
everything in this NFT physical world, I think. I mean, again, it's going to the artifact stuff and now the .swoosh stuff. I love everything they have done.
Right on, man. All right. Any last thoughts on the merch or the Nike before we hit Courtyard real quick? And then, of course, y'all know what's going to happen. You already know what's going to happen. As soon as we end the show, Gordon Ghana is going to start dropping fucking updates.
Before, like, speaking on Gordon real quick, before we go into Courtyard, can you pull up Blur and then try to search by one day if possible? I don't know if you've got that.
That you're gonna say, does anybody have Gordon's like wallet so you can start tracking it?
I've got it up right now. I've been watching.
Well, he always like funds it from Coinbase and like he's doing different wallets too.
Curious.
So
What do you like to use, Huda, for tracking?
Literally manually
Hey,
just
Biggie?
on OpenSea.
Hey, Big, I'm in the middle of my segment, sir.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
Come on, bro. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Big, he'll be back in a moment.
No, really quick. The jumping back into like, okay, so the crossover from Artifact, right? Like it's I feel like they haven't really figured out CloneX yet, but that wasn't really the story that I wanted to touch on. One of the calls that we made a little while ago is 10KTF, and I do still think 10KTF is going to run. Like 10KTF G tags are deflationary because the way that it works is you kind of put them together. You can just click into the title. Yeah. You put them together and essentially you can make rarer pieces by putting like 7 together. So you need 7 G tags to make like one extremely rare PFP. These are the PFPs for 10KTF. So not financial advice. I think these still have a way to run. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is on that. And then with the rest of the space, if we go back to the actual collections themselves, I think like for the majority, I'm looking at like, yeah, this is fine here. I think I'm gonna like sell my cool cats. Like I just don't see like this feels like a really crazy event, right? Like when you see these collections go up 125%, 200%, whatever they did, like unless I can't like think in my mind what is the next event to continue this momentum. And I think like right now in like if I'm like playing kind of a trader mentality, I'm selling my cool cats here. I'm selling a lot of these PFPs that pumped like 200, 250% because I think that they'll drop before they eventually go back up again. So,
you might be right. It's smart to take W's, but also I hear a little bit of disbelief in your voice there, Q.
Well, I'm hoping to get maybe more cool cats when they drop. So I do think like, a year and a half from now, and I want to hear y'all's takes on this, but like a year and a half from now, we're going to be all the way up there, Go ahead, Hudo.
Q, so I know their milk token is dead, but is there a chance that can get revived? Is it dead?
I think it's dead. The team basically was like, this is being issued out. I think they even offered rewards for people that sent milk token to an address or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I had a buddy that was looking at the chart and it ran maybe like 30% or so yesterday or the day before. And I'm like, dude, it's so low. Does it hurt to throw $50 at it as a what if, you never know scenario? So yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts, and now I got them.
Yeah, the original team said that they're not doing anything with it, but yeah, it could be a degen play.
All right, y'all, I'm trying to wind this down here in just the next couple minutes. We're getting some great comments. Again, shout out to the fam hanging out with us, keeping the chat lit over here. Metageist coming in saying logistics can be a pain. If the backend UI UX is up to their usual standard, I think it'll make their physical drops less painful. Swerve is saying Q looks like strung out world poker tourney competitor who just made it to the final table for the first time. Yes, he does. Keep it coming, Swervis. You're killing it. By the way, Swervis is trying to start beef not only with Goner and Machi, but also Q. Keep it up, Swervis. We are here for it. We're here for the beef. Squashman agrees that Yetis are incoming as soon as the show ends. And Quantum saying Q not gonna make it easy. All right. We'll follow up on these in a moment, but I got to get to this last courtyard piece of news before we get up out of here. Shout out Squashman again for keeping us up on everything that's happening while we're doing the show live. Appreciate you a ton, dude. You're always so good at that, man. So here we go. I found it, pulling it up right now. And Courtyard.io, they've been really killing it with the Pokemon cards, physical backed, or they're really just tokenized physical trading cards that they hold in a Brinks wall. They custody them in a Brinks vault for you. And this looks like just 36 minutes ago, we got a little bit of alpha introducing Web3 Week of Thanks, kicking off a new tradition to give thanks to the Web3 community. So many memories. We wouldn't want to be on this crazy ride with anyone else. A week of free Pokemon drops brought to you by Privy, Chimpers, and Courtyard. Wow, it's a Chimpers collab too. I don't know what Privy is, but it looks like they're part of it. Okay, free Pokemon cards. I mean, they're not going to be Grails, but that's cool.
Well, if they're dropping packs, maybe they have some Grails sprinkled in there, right? Got to keep it.
It's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible, but I don't think they're giving out free. Yeah, maybe they throw in one or two. Sure, just to keep it spicy. So the packs are branded by Privy and Chimpers. Yeah, they got info about Chimpers here. Sorry.
Courtyard, stop faking this, dude. Stop. Come on, man. We need y'all on the network. We need a partnership happening now, happening this week. I'm going to announce it if y'all don't fucking say anything to us.
There it is.
Oh, hang on. Is there a Chimpers in the Chimpers pack? Is that how that works, or are those all Pokemon?
I didn't see it in there. They just say Pokemon cards. I think they're just using the packs as like branding and promo because that's what this is. Right. So I'll pull it up here one last time real quick just to look at it. To me, what this is promo and marketing to get people familiar with Courtyard, with their service, get them in it with a free, cheap Pokemon card. So you understand what it is. Like, yo, I got a fucking an NFT that represents an actual physical card in a Brinks vault that if I want it out, I can get it out. That's what they're doing here. And so they're using the pack ripping, the wrapping, just like Amazon boxes. They put their advertising on every single fucking box that goes out because that's real estate. All those boxes. That's what they're doing here with the packs. It's actually really smart. So they're just using it as a promo opportunity to get these out into a bunch of different people's faces and wallets, get people excited, and talk about Chambers, talk about Privy. That's what I think is happening.
I love that breakdown. I think Gift's right on point with this. My mind is kind of just spinning with this whole conversation around real world assets and the projects coming back. I would love to see a combination of the metaverse play that we saw in 21 and a real world asset play, like a fucking courtyard shop in the other side. Like, that's fucking fire to me. Like, that gets me like all energetic.
Now, did you guys see that HSBC is launching a custodial service for RWAs too? So you guys are right to be putting the focus on this. This is the focus of big money out there, and Courtyard's kind of just laying the groundwork, I think, for a lot of it.
Yep. Agreed. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and wind down the show here with some awesome news. Again, shout out Squash Man for just continuing to contribute. So glad that you're part of the network, and glad that all of y'all are. We got Swervis over here. He sort of is trying to walk back a little bit, say that he's not for real with the beef, but like we know what's really happening, but we appreciate you nonetheless. CSP Easy saying Cool Cats and Doodles were on my watch list. Yeah, might have missed the boat on that one. And we'll go over and I'll go check Gordon Goner's profile real quick, but let's go ahead and go around. Y'all say some last words to the fam before we wind down.
Who goes first?
This circle. Okay, look, man, you got to give me the direction here. I think Swerve has been a great contributor to today's episode, and I'm only going to make you feel more jealous here, dude. I'm going to be taking some nice photos at the bachelor pad that we picked out here in Florida, so I'm excited to share those with you. But yeah, awesome episode. Gifted, fantastic job manning the sticks behind the scenes, and fantastic ride with my co-host here. I love coming on these shows.
Hey, we're happy you made it, man. All right, go ahead, Biggie. We'll throw you up here next.
Yeah, wishing you guys a lovely weekend. Enjoy Miami, Q. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll see you next week.
Hell yeah! All right, Huda. I'm gonna let you go, but also I'm gonna pull up Gordon Goner's profile at the same time.
Oh yeah. All right. I'll use my moment to say something I've noticed now for days is that this community is really, really awesome. The way I see in the chat all episode long, they're riffing, they're throwing out alpha, they're keeping engaged. I don't see that on a lot of shows out here. So there's definitely something different and special about this gang right here. What do you say? Our vibe, our vibe, our tribe. Like, I feel it, dude. There's something different here. So you guys all rock. Keep doing that. Remember, take profits, guys, right? Like, if things are up, remember how it felt when things were not up, okay? So just play this smart, have fun out there, and be safe, all that good stuff.
I love that. OVOTs in chat for Huda. And all right, here it is. The last thing we're going to touch on. Gordon saying, not buying an ordinal this time. I sort of missed that whole thing and need to educate myself first. That's interesting, given that they've got some projects. No idea who these weirdos are.
That's right.
But there's 100 images of me dressed as a wizard taking a shower in this thread. So they're pretty much in my number 2 spot after 12-fold. So, okay, no ordinals, but definitely probably some purchases incoming here. And hopefully we'll check those out in the rehash. Look out for that coming shortly. I got one last quick thing for me as I go out. My last Coffins poster, season 1 Coffins poster, last one is going to drop today. So if you want to get in on this, it'll drop on 01. Look out for that. I'll be announcing it on my X profile. And then we have to, of course, give a chance for Nifty Q's chair to take us out. All right. Any last thoughts? Let us know. Right on. Agreed. Yep.
Yeah. Let's get out.
Well said.
Shout out to Manny for that beautiful photo, that beautiful art piece.
Our vibe, our tribe, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.